Hi Arjun, how are you?
Hello, Gurleen. Very good. How are you?
Good. So could you tell my friends here what do you do? Where are you from?
Sure. So, hi everyone. As I said, I'm Arjun. I live in here, Toronto, Canada. I work at a bank here, and today we're going to be talking about my experience with being self-isolated due to coronavirus. Positively enough, I wasn't tested positive for it, so that's great. But outside of that, yes, I was kept in self-isolation for about 14 days. So in my case, that meant I was locked in my room. So my kind of environment was literally stuck between four walls. Wasn't even allowed to step outside my room. Um, so yeah, that was basically it. But go ahead.
Could you tell us why were you supposed to be in 14 days
Sure.
isolation?
Sure. So this was, I want to say, about a couple of weeks ago, maybe slightly more, where I went to a coffee shop here, but it was just a drive-through, and I went and I grabbed a coffee and I came home. A couple of days after that, it came to the news that one of the people there, they did not specify who, but one of the employees there was tested positive for coronavirus. What happened from there on is that the mayor of our city announced that anyone who has gone there between a certain time period will be requested to self isolate, and that's where it started. A couple of days after that, and as that each day progressed, considering it's a very busy coffee shop, a lot of people went there, so there were a lot of questions about what are they going to do. Do everybody need to be tested? And considering there's only a finite number of tests, we were requested that please don't hoard the hospitals, don't hoard the emergency room, that it is required for the people who are actually suffering. So turns
Correct.
out it wasn't someone, because considering I went through a drive-through, it wasn't someone who used to work at a drive-through who had it. It was somebody at the back kitchen. So it wasn't a direct contact. It was more so a secondary indirect contact that I had that I had it with. So it wasn't the worst case, and I'm fine now. I had no symptoms at all for 14 days. I do live with my parents, and I don't want to say that they have, weak immune systems, but they are certainly 50 plus. So there was
Of course.
obviously, a level of, caution that everybody had to keep. So yeah, that's kind of why I was in, self-isolated.
So how did your routine did it completely change? You being in just one room throughout, you were working from there?
Right.
How was the experience being 14 days in one room?
Right. So I had started working from home about a couple of days before this happened. So I was kind of already getting used to, being in my home and not going into work. But this kind of came as a shock because I couldn't even step out of my room. So my confinement was between my room and my bathroom, and that's kind of it. Um, my routine, I mean, I was like, I didn't even have a routine at that point. My routine was, it was a bigger shock to then come out of the room because that had become my routine more so. Because then I had the entire place. I had my home gym downstairs. So I started now going there. But in those 14 days, I had nothing to do. I didn't have time, kind of an understanding of what the time is. It would wake up at 11, keep working till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., watch TV shows. But there's only so much you can do after the third or the fourth day. So in terms of food, I was eating in paper plates. I had a garbage box sitting here that I would, throw all my paper plates in. My mom gave me, dishwasher equipment. So I would, I was washing my dishes with that and then keeping it isolated, when it came to that. I didn't wash clothes for 2 weeks, so whatever I had is what I had. I washed it off. I washed it after because just by any chance, if there was any contamination, I didn't want to take a chance. In terms of food, so my brother would keep the food outside the room. Outside the room, I would take it, and then that's it. That's how we were doing. About 7 8 days later, we started talking. So we opened the room, opened the doors. My brother's room is right across from mine. We kept about 6 feet of distance, and then that's how we chatted. That's how we talked. So to be honest, it's tough, but eventually got used to it, right? Like, because you have to understand that it's not about me. I hear a lot of people saying, I was talking to a lot of friends, I was talking to you and Sahib, and we were all talking about it's so boring, what are you going to do, and stuff. And we all talked about that. This is not about you or me. It's a bigger picture here. You have to be concerned about, the generation above. Because what's been happening in New York and in Italy, we have to
True.
understand that this could actually wipe out an entire generation above us and the one above them. And that's the more concrete thing here that we have to kind of be wary about.
This is so good that, if everybody starts thinking like this, it's going to be a different world altogether. So this corona has anyway come as a reminder for everybody to, stick to the grounds, be rooted, and, think for the other
Right.
generations as well.
Definitely.
Great.
I mean, with that said, I do come from a privileged position where I am working from home. My work allows that. I have a strong, family
Well,
support
of
system.
course.
Because what was I going to do if I was living alone at home, right? I'm going to have to cook by myself. I would have had to order groceries in. That would have taken at least a week, considering the backlog on the orders that it's been going on. I would have had to order in food, and then I haven't
True.
ordered in food in 14 days, because what if that restaurant has somebody that catches that, then everybody else here is not susceptible to it.
Fair enough, right? All of us are
Yeah.
abiding by that. Okay, so what happened on the 14th day when you were supposed to be tested? How did that go?
Right. So
What were you feeling like?
so on the 13th day, when I saw no like symptoms at all, like any of the symptoms, I had nothing. So I called my doctor. Everything is kind of happening here on webcam. So I was talking to the doctor as I'm talking to you right now. And then she kind of went through an online test with me and talked about, is there anything that's happening? Have you been in contact with anyone who's traveled? And when she meant contact, she meant a direct contact. Um, any sort of symptoms, headache, nausea, breathing issues, primarily, I said nothing. But so that was the main thing. And then when she said, okay, there's nothing, and like I said, only a finite number of tests that are out there, she suggested I don't be tested, and then I can step out, and that's what happened. So I was never tested. Everything was fine. I came out fine. I'm still fine. There's nothing been going on, knock on wood. But yeah.
Good luck with that. I am
Yeah.
sure you're fine. But this is also great that there was an online kind of a test considered, and which had your thing done on the online thing is a very fair enough way to do,
Right.
because it saves on a lot of resources.
Exactly. And the government here has been, quite quite good with that. They've been asking
They're very
people.
supportive, of
Exactly.
course.
100%. Definitely.
Of course, of course. All right. Thank you for sharing all that information with us.
No problem, Gurleen. Yeah.
Thank you, and good luck
Anything
to
else?
you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good luck to everybody. Say hi to Sahib.
Good luck. Sure. Good luck. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.